This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Hey, welcome to Hot Takes, the show where I react to the hot takes that you guys leave in the comment section. First video that we're going to talk about is this game that changed my mind about DTR. A lot of interesting comments in this video. Dylan Clark says the reason he can't throw the ball deep despite his velocity would probably be his hand size. As a dude who's 5'9" and has shorter fingers, I can tell you from experience, the way I have to throw a football, I kind of hold on to the last two laces and stretch my index finger all the way down the tip of the ball. I kind of throw like a javelin motion. I can tell the tight spiral and some the zipped another while I hold off on the ball. I bet it's just something similar in that case. I don't think it's that, to be honest with you. I don't think DTR is having the same issues throwing the football that you are. DTR has pretty big hands. He has 9, 7, 8-inch hands. His fingers are probably plenty long. Like, I don't think it's that. Some people just can't throw the ball far. It's not something that you can predict with size. It's not, because however it works, right? There are guys, Pat Mahomes is a great example of this. Pat Mahomes can somehow throw the ball further than Josh Allen. And that just tells me how little we understand about how arm strength works. Because Pat Mahomes, he's not a small guy, but he's 6 foot, maybe 6'1", maybe 215 pounds. You would think that the dude who's 6'5", 235 can throw the ball further than him, but that's not true. Pat got him. What I am trying to illustrate is the things that determine arm strength are almost impossible to figure out just by looking at somebody or just watching them throw. Throwing is one of the great mysteries of the world. I'm sure there's some genius in the comment section that swears they haven't figured out, but we don't know. You can't just look at somebody and figure out if they could throw a football before they could throw a football. You really can only tell by watching somebody throw a football. And it's not anything physically about DTR that stops him from throwing a football in the way that he needs to throw it. Skinnier and smaller quarterbacks than him have been able to throw the football further and with more touch than him. I don't think it's anything physical. I just don't think he's capable of doing it, because whatever it is, whatever muscle that needs to be there, whatever flexibility in your muscle, or whatever strength that needs to be there naturally for you to throw a football very far and accurate, he just doesn't seem to have. I think it's just that simple, right? Throwing the football, you can learn enough to get to a certain place or train enough to get to a certain place with your arm talent. But at the end of the day, arm talent is arm talent, and you're born with a lot of it. And whatever is there that makes Pat Mahomes at a similar size to DTR. Obviously, Pat Mahomes is much bigger than DTR. DTR is like 200 pounds. But even stuff like weight, right? You'll look at DTR and think maybe he's 170, but he might be 200. Like, guys carry weight in so many different ways. He could be 250 pounds. You wouldn't know, right? My whole point is, it's difficult to make judgments based off of the visuals of what a player looks like, especially a quarterback, and then throw those judgments onto why they can't throw the football, when those judgments have been proven to be untrustworthy. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's his fingers. I think it's, honestly, he ain't got whatever it is that makes you throw the ball far. And again, there's people who are much smaller than me that can throw the ball much further than me. There are people who are much bigger than me that can throw the ball much less than I can. It's just a weird thing that determines this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I understand it. Vaducci says, I'm sorry, I butchered that, bruh, but I need you to just phonetically put that out next time. Pittsburgh, I was real happy when they hired Arthur Smith. Talk about a guy who doesn't know how to use a good running back. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, right? Because Arthur Smith also neglected his best running back in Atlanta. I wonder if he makes that same mistake in Pittsburgh with Najee and Jaylen Warren, where Jaylen Warren should get a lot of carries, but not really what he wanted to do there in Atlanta. All right, we got a long one from Zeke Dog. Zeke Dog says, hey, great at breaking down NFL plays in action. Do you think DTR can make a transition into our new offensive strategy? He has the talents to make that adjustment. Your points in this video, I watched 3 times, are that his passing issues, but I think it's his passing speed was the issues last year. In regards to the drop passes, Deanne, AC, and Tillman, can he take a bit of speed off the throw, or can he adjust to new offensive strategies? Looking forward to your thoughts. All in all, Cleveland starting quarterback who beats the Steelers is a keeper, even if the defense is mostly responsible. Beating the Steelers as a rookie, QB is golden. He was a rookie called into early service. I hope, beyond hope, he gets the chance. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that he was able to play in this game and you know, put it together enough at the end of the game to help the Browns win and get into field goal range. But we can't act like PJ Walker wouldn't have won that game. We can't sit here and act like Deshaun Watson wouldn't have won that game. Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks you could address for that game that would have been able to win that game. As far as DTR's talent, I have serious questions about that now, because if this were just a matter of him taking a little bit off the ball, then you have to ask the obvious question. Why isn't he just taking a little bit off the ball? Like, what about that takes a whole summer to learn, right? If this was just something simple like that, it would have shown up from the game in Baltimore to now. And this is something that's existed with him going back to college. I think some of the limitations he has with his arms are just limitations, and I don't think they can be overcome. And I don't think these are limitations that he hasn't tried to fix a ton in his personal career. So yeah, I'm that's the concern with me is you put there, and I appreciate the comment, DTR is talented. And I say, yeah, DTR is talented, but I don't think any of those talents stack up in a way that's useful for him in the NFL, in the way that people want those talents to stack up. Gaggin says, I think the game plan for the game was predicated on the idea that you only needed 2 scores to beat Pittsburgh. Stick and quick slants, very little motion in the game, meant the scheme was trying to minimize the role of the quarterback with quick reads and options. You saw they needed better quarterback play. Stefanski starting to call more vertical routes and eventually caused the game-winning drive with very good defense. The more fair game to grade him on is the Denver game. Watch Jake Brill. Yeah, so again, I'm not saying that DTR is not capable of making good throws. It's just, where are those throws and where are those throws never happening, right? He's not really capable of throwing anything outside the numbers. That's what I mean by limited, right? When you hear limited, you usually think of like Case Keenum, right? Somebody who can't throw the ball at all. DTR can throw the ball in a straight line in the middle of the field pretty well. It's just out routes, anything outside the numbers, he looks lost trying to throw that football. I'm not doubting that he's made some impressive throws. I pointed out some of the impressive throws that DTR has had throughout his career. The issue is that a lot of these throws he needs to make are more routine, and he can't do them. It's the layups that are the problem, right? He can't throw deep. He can't hit the layups that are deep. He can't hit the layups that are in front of him. I think that's more the issue for DTR is it's nice that you can throw the ball really fast. But when he needs to throw the ball with touch, he doesn't throw the ball with touch. When he needs to throw the ball with zip, he's good. But I don't know. It's just, I don't think that some of these issues are really fixable with DTR. Was there any part of that question that I missed? Also, like the whole thing about the game plan. Hey, man, if you're the head coach and you have to make a game plan about a quarterback that basically says, I hope the other team can't score so we can win this game, man, that kind of tells you don't really think that quarterback that you have is good. Like, if that was the game plan and the game that Deshaun Watson was winning, if the game plan, right, if we're starting Deshaun Watson and the Browns go out there with the game plan of, well, I hope Pittsburgh can't score more than two. Well, I hope Pittsburgh isn't capable of scoring the ball more than twice. If that is our game plan with our starting quarterback, we really got to evaluate who's starting, right? And again, this is DTR. He's competing to be a backup, but that bar is just so low that anybody can live up to it. I don't really think that's a good point for DTR, given that the game plan was so simple and basically kind of hoping that you just get into a low scoring game because you feel like a low scoring game is the only way you can win because you don't really trust them to create enough offense. That to me is not really promising. John says most of the game wasn't pretty for DTR. Stefanski can usually squeeze a couple of good drives out of our backup QBs at key moments. Not sure if that's just luck, but he deserves some credit on that. Now, this is something that it's been proven to be like a thing for Kevin, right? You go all the way back to 2020. He's been really good at the end of quarters and at the end of halves. Well, at the end of periods, right? Fourth quarter and in end of second half. He's been pretty good at that his whole career as the Browns offensive coordinator and head coach. Pretty much going back to 2020, right? He did it with Baker. He did it with Jacoby Brissett. He did it well with, I think, Garrett Gilbert or whoever started that game against Oakland. He did it well with all kinds of different quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, literally every quarterback that started last year, he did it with. This is something that Kevin Stefanski always has in his back pocket, that he can pull out a 2-minute drive out of his ass pretty much consistently. And he does deserve a lot of credit for that because that is one of his skills that he brings to the table. A little surprised at you, Quincy. DTR, a rookie last year. This was one of the main criticisms I got of this video, of my criticisms of DTR. I understand that rookie quarterbacks and rookie players in general deserve a little bit of leeway when it comes to their ability to process or other advanced concepts on the field, given that they're first-year players. But just because somebody is a rookie does not mean that that person is free or excused from any evaluations of significance. And if I notice that a player that's supposed to throw the football can't throw the football in the ways that's needed in order for the Browns to really have a sustainable offense, I have to talk about that. That has to be mentioned, and that can't be ignored because he is a rookie. Now, if he were processing stuff incorrectly, that's fine. You can learn that. If the game was moving too fast for him, that's fine. You can learn that. If he was throwing some interceptions, making some mistakes, that's fine. You can learn from it. But the issue with him is he wasn't seeing basic stuff. It seemed like he didn't have the arm talent to throw some basic passes outside the numbers. Those are things that I have to look at and say, hey, this is bigger than him just being a rookie. This is not something that him being in his just second year is going to fix, because it seems like an issue with his skill set translating. That's the problem, right? It didn't take us long to figure out that Anthony Schwartz wasn't going to be a good wide receiver, because the skill set wasn't there for him to be a good wide receiver. Yeah, he was fast. He wasn't quick, though, right? Like, the skill set wasn't there. We could all see it. Maybe some of us saw it the rookie year. Maybe you saw it the second year. But the issue was the issue with Anthony Schwartz. And if that's the issue with DTR, it has to be discussed. And it can't be ignored simply because he's a rookie, because all we're doing is kicking that can down the line to when he's not a rookie to have that criticism. And that criticism is going to be as valid today as it's going to be tomorrow, because that's something that just comes with the package of DTR. His arm talent is a bit odd. Ohio Moto says, not sure why age would matter in a tag situation on a guy like Cooper. It's a 1-year deal. If his production is there, get it done. Well, age might come into consideration because this is football. Guys fall off a cliff at certain ages, right? So you don't want to be stuck paying $22 million or $24 million, which is what the salary cap, not the salary cap, but the franchise tag is projected to be at next year. 24.7 for wide receivers, for franchise, 22.3 on the transition tag. I would assume if the Browns tag Amari Cooper, maybe they franchise tag him, but we have to see what other players are up, right? I don't think JOK is going to fall in the franchise tag category because what, $25 million for a stand-up linebacker is what? Nuts mode to do that. So absolutely not going to happen there. Maybe it happens with some other players down the line, but yeah, I mean, they could tag Amari Cooper. I think his age wouldn't matter if it's 2 years down the line or a year down the line. You know, he starts to get 30. We got to see what his production is this year too. If it starts to look like his production is going to tail off, then you definitely don't want to give him a franchise tag going forward and play a premium for what might not be a premium price for a player. So we'll see. We also got to see where the team is. Do they live up to expectations? I think there's a lot more that you have to figure out when it comes to that franchise tag with Amari Cooper than just whether you think Amari Cooper is going to be good right now. I think you got to kind of wait and see how this plays out. Next comment comes from Farrell, who says, I believe Amari Cooper will say he doesn't want to play for the Browns. Oh boy, we put an unhinged comment in here. Love when we do that. And I don't know why I'm saying we, like it's not me who chose this damn comment. Y'all paid Jerry Jeudy, who's proven nothing, over Cooper, and y'all gave y'all 1,200 yards. He should have been first priority, and Jeudy should have gotten a 1-year prove-it deal. Trash organization. But did all this talking about T. Higgins and Trey. He's a Mad Bengals fan. That's what this is. Okay, so all this talking about T. Higgins and Trey. Amari is clearly disgruntled. He should explore going somewhere else where he would make long-term more security and where he is appreciated. Horrible move bringing in Mike Vrabel. He's going to have players doing things his way, not Kevin Stefanski's way, that causes a rift. Can we all agree not to take that guy seriously? Yeah. All right. Is there any more questions or comments? All right, let's move on to the next video. I just thought that comment was so unhinged that I wanted to talk about it. All right. Let me focus. All right. Mo Hurst is a top tier role player for the Cleveland Browns. Ryan says, so what this new office is telling me is that Quincy is a huge Always Sunny fan. Absolutely, man. I've watched Always Sunny. I think my two favorite sitcoms, if we're talking about comedies, not sitcoms, because sitcoms are different than what Always Sunny and Arrested Development are. Those are my two favorite comedy shows. If we're talking sitcoms, I just finished a rewatch of Fresh Prince. You definitely got to throw A Different World in there. There's a lot of contenders for best sitcom. I could go all day about it. My Wife and Kids, I feel like, is a solid sitcom. Underrated, doesn't age as well as A Different World does. So there is that. A lot of these sitcoms don't age well. What other one? In the House is a little underrated. The last 2 seasons of it, I think the first 2 seasons of it are. They have that last season of In the House that's absolute garbage. Skip that one if you're watching it on Tubi. But I think the first 4 seasons of that show are fine. What other shows, sitcoms are in there? Oh, Reba. Reba's a top tier sitcom in my opinion. I'm willing to fight over that one. I'm a Reba fan. Shout out Reba. That's a good sitcom. What other sitcoms do they have in the rotation? There's plenty more. Like, do you count Girlfriends as a sitcom? Do you count The Game as a sitcom? Right? It really depends on where you go with sitcoms, but I'm an Always Sunny fan. I'm a big Always Sunny fan. I've rewatched that show a ton. Arrested Development, huge Arrested Development fan. Love those comedies. The Office is another great one. Just a ton of good comedies in the mid-aughts. It was a good time for comedy, at least when it comes to kind of those Malcolm in the Middle. Whew. Classic, man. Classic. Damn. All right, let me know what your favorite sitcom is in the comment section below. Are you Malcolm in the Middle or you Malcolm and Eddie? Let me know down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace. These people gonna think I've been in the same damn shirt all week. They not gonna know I batch recorded because I'm leaving to go out of town on July 4th. So it's gonna look crazy. They're gonna be like, boy, he done wore the same outfit through a haircut.